behalf of the Board of Trustees of Wesleyan University, I welcome you to our 163rd commencement exercises. This is a day of joy, a day of hope, a day of pride. Those who receive our degrees today have labored long and hard to earn them. We congratulate you. We congratulate just as warmly the parents, the family, and the friends whose love and support have sustained and inspired you to this point in your careers. We join them in being proud of you and of your accomplishments. We hope that what you have acquired at this place will be of value to you for the rest of your lives, and that you will forever appreciate the faculty who have taught you here, who have believed in you, and who hope for every success in your future. And now, pursuant to the authority granted the Board of Trustees by the laws of the state of Connecticut, I declare these exercises open.
Madam President, it is my honor to present Merce Cunningham, the great choreographer of our time, to receive at your hands Wesleyan's honorary degree of Doctor of Fine Arts.
Merce Cunningham, pioneer in the art of modern dance, musician, painter, choreographer known around the world, Wesleyan University delights in conferring upon you, our esteemed friend, the honorary degree of Doctor of Fine Arts.
Madam President, I'm honored to present Paula Giddings, historian, humanist, writer, feminist extraordinaire, to receive at your hands Wesleyan's honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Paula J. Giddings, writer, editor, humanist, scholar of African American life, activist and voice for Black women in America, Wesleyan University is proud to confer upon you an honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Madam President, I have the honor to present the distinguished economist and philosopher Amartya K. Sen to receive at your hands Wesleyan's honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Amartya Sen, economist, philosopher, humanist, distinguished lecturer, seminal thinker, and writer, for your moral commitment to the have-nots of our world, Wesleyan University respectfully confers upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Madam President, I would like to present to you Torsten Nils Wiesel for the honorary degree of Doctor of Science.
Torsten Wiesel, educator, conciliator, research scientist, professor of physiology and neurobiology, winner of the Nobel Prize in Medicine, Wesleyan University, in admiration, confers upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science.
I have the honor to present to you Charles Sumner Stone, Wesleyan 48, to receive at your hands Wesleyan's honorary degree of Doctor of Letters.
Sumner Stone, class of 48, award-winning journalist and teacher, advocate of the First Amendment, author and biographer, your alma mater delights in conferring upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters.
When President Kennedy received an honorary degree from Yale, he put the best of two worlds, a Harvard education and a degree from Yale. For me, this is the best of three worlds, a Wesleyan education, a Wesleyan honorary degree, and an introduction by a distinguished Wesleyan president and a deeply beloved friend, Colin Campbell. Wesleyan class of 1995, Wesleyan parents, Wesleyan alumni, alumni, faculty, staff, fellow honorary degree recipients, members of the Board of Trustees, Interim President Joanne Creighton, President Emeritus Colin Campbell, President-elect Doug Bennett, and an old good friend, beloved members of my family, and a partridge in a pear tree. Past President Ted Eppington, one of my classmates, and also an old friend, couldn't be here today. But I want all of you to know that he too is part of the tradition of great Wesleyan presidents. Wesleyan's future, however, is assured in more ways than one. Today is number one daughter Krishna's birthday. With her is her 2-month-old daughter, Faray Diosa Stone, member of the Wesleyan class of 2016. Krishna, where are you sitting? Where's Diosa? There she is. Yesterday, the Hartford Courant quoted a Wesleyan professor that students wanted as commencement speakers the Jane Fondas and the Walter Cronkites, but the faculty would rather hear, and I quote, respected scholars. By gender, race, and professional distinction, I am disqualified by the students' criteria. Suffering a paucity of heuristic productivity, I failed the faculty's criteria. But it is a season of benevolence, and this septuagenarian is grateful for you for this share of Wesleyan goodness. Every hour, CNN intones, give us 30 minutes, and we'll give you the world. Cherished colleagues, give me 15 minutes, and I'll give you a commencement address. And as we used to say in World War II, synchronize your watches. Beneath today's sun-canopied sky for 650 proud and relieved Wesleyan women and men, it is indeed the day that the Lord hath made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. And this Connecticut-raised Black Baptist also takes a special delight in quoting the eloquent wisdom of one of Israel's greatest kings, David. Today's commencement is an inevitability as the recurrence of rosy-fingered dawns and purple twilights. Equally inevitable are commencement speakers who luxuriate in Andy Warhol's 15 minutes of fame while graduates like yourself sit listening in a Joycean stream of consciousness and wondering, how long, oh Lord, how long must we suffer before we can escape to obey Marvin Gaye's melodic command, let's get on. All graduating classes are equal, but some are more equal than others, and that includes Emerson Williams. Your class graduates on the 50th anniversary of the end of World War II. You are the crossover generation, one of the most humanitarian generations in the history of this country. And may you, your sons and daughters, and your grandchildren never know war again. You graduated under the outstanding leadership of Wesleyan's first woman president, Joanne Creighton, who will continue her presidential stewardship at Mount Holyoke, our sister school. You graduate with a record-setting percentage of Phi Beta Kappas, and you graduate with a Wesleyan Renaissance education. Even with that audacious distinction that took me 70 years to understand, I'm still a slow learner, I did discover that there is no monolithic blueprint for achieving la bonne vie, the good life. There are at least 3 blueprints, and that discovery was a surprise. The word surprise, of course, is a semantic error in my case, as the Promethean intellect and lexicographer Dr. Samuel Johnson once explained. One morning, his wife happened to encounter him in the maid in the pantry in an activity that had very little to do with the preparation of breakfast. Dr. Johnson, she angrily exclaimed, "I am surprised." No, my dear, the truculent scholar corrected her. "We are surprised. You are amazed." For 4 years, Wesleyan has nurtured you in the unifying ethos of its superior education without compromising the richness of your gender and ethnic diversity. As you leave here today, let those values undergird at least 3 blueprints to guide you, as Pericles said, on the highway of your daring. The first blueprint was designed by William Graham Sumner, the Yale sociologist, who once wrote, "If you live in a country which is run by a committee, make sure you're on the committee." For decades, Wesleyan women and men have been members of the committee all over America as university presidents, stock exchange presidents, distinguished writers, corporate executives, journalists, editors, elected officials, and literary scholars. The second blueprint comes from Herodotus, who wrote, "Great deeds are wrought at great risk." Many of us take risks every day, but few of us take great risks. Be a great risk taker. Great risk takers do more than merely change society. They transfigure it, either as a Galileo, a Mahatma Gandhi, an Oscar Wilde, a Susan B. Anthony, an Ida B. Wells Barnett, a Gertrude Stein, a Nelson Mandela, a Lee Iacocca, or a Muriel Siebert. Muriel Siebert? Her name may not strike a mnemonic chord, but this great risk-taking stockbroker became the first woman member of the New York Stock Exchange in 1967. With her risk-taking success, Horatio Alger finally acquired a sister. But everybody cannot be a member of the committee or even desire to be a great risk-taker. All of us, however, have it within ourselves to follow a third blueprint as nurturers of people. As some nurturers have risen to the top, they still find time to help others. As Muriel Siebert declared in a recent interview, "I was raised in a way that when good things happen to you, you owe. I feel the obligation to slug it out for women. Go, sister." People nurturers raise families either with spouses or partners, volunteer on civic and religious committees, and try to keep the lines of communication open with their adversaries. But one of the tragedies of our society today are those who consider themselves people nurturers in their love of family, yet yield to the most barbaric impulses to protect their ideas. I cannot construct for you the perfect paradigm for a people nurturer, but my paradigm does not include people who plant bombs in people and kill innocent people. Buildings, rather, and kill innocent people. My paradigm excludes people who condemn other religions than theirs as gutter religions or stigmatize an entire religious group as European bankers and money lenders. But there is a line between those who stigmatize and those who terrorize. The line may be diaphanous, but the line is firm and defines the reciprocity of our civility. As repulsive as some words may be, those who stigmatized are entitled to the fullest the freedom of expression, and they should be confronted. Those who terrorize should be convicted. And democracy's most precious possession is the constitutional distinction between the words of the stigmatist and the actions of the terrorist. John Stuart Mill, a 19th century philosophical genius, and incidentally an early feminist, defended that distinction as, quote, absolute freedom of opinion on all subjects, scientific, moral, and theological. But he held the state has a right to control a person against his or her will to prevent harm to others. Sisters and brothers, I readily concede that a woman's personal perception of her harm to her self-respect is valid. In her reaction to that perception of harm, she insists that Mill's doctrine, the prevention of harm, be followed. But Supreme Court justices who have quoted Mill in several decisions disagree. The court has consistently rejected in its decisions the doctrine of prior restraint by permitting the publication of the Pentagon Papers, the burning of the American flag, and the publication of pornographic materials. Whenever any form of prior restraint is imposed on an entire society because of the aggrieved perceptions of one group, that society descends into the Stygian exercise of censorship. At Carolina, I teach an interdisciplinary course on censorship. On the first day of class, I quickly put all sacred cows out to pasture with this question: why is Sunday morning the best time to drive on the Los Angeles freeways? The answer? Because the Catholics are still asleep. The Catholics are at Mass. The Protestants are still asleep. The Jews are in Palm Springs. The gays are in the public baths. The Irish are hungover from the night before. The Italians are opening the fish markets. The feminists are making protest signs. The Japanese are making flower arrangements. The Chinese are stuffing fortune cookies. The blacks are in jail, and the Mexicans can't get their cars started. Satire and outrageous humor are the ultimate repositories of freedom of speech. And thank goodness Jay Leno, Sinbad, David Letterman, Jeff Foxworthy, Margaret Cho, George Carlin, and Lee DeLaria make life uncomfortable for the powerful, the pompous, and the parochial. Only a strong and secure democracy can guarantee the fullest and freest exchange of ideas, no matter how much those ideas hurt or incite. But as Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. once wrote, every idea is an incitement. In 1995, ideas that incite include the advocacies of abortion, affirmative action, capital punishment, flag burning, multiculturalism, political correctness, prayer in public schools, and term limitations. In the often angry collisions among ethnic, religious, and ideological groups, we must vigilantly preserve both our humor and our forbearance. And that brings up a paradox. We see today an explosion of information and artistic diversities in television, the movies, videos, books, and magazines, while at the same time, censors, those ubiquitous usurpers of freedom of speech, are stifling ideas at an alarming rate. Every year, at least 44 religious, ethnic, and ideological groups lobby to remove more than 100 books from local school systems and public libraries. These books include, this will blow your mind, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Of Mice and Men, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Catcher in the Rye, The Diary of Anne Frank, The Color Purple, The Chocolate War, and I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. Even magazines are not exempt from the censor's blue pencil. In some school systems, people have lobbied to take out of the library Sports Illustrated and YM Magazine. After 2 centuries of freedom, Americans are still grappling with the question, how free can free speech be? It depends on who answers that question, or as Martin Luther said, on whose ox is gored. Justice Harlan summed it up. One man's vulgarity is another's lyric. In constitutional theory, that's very hip. But in everyday practice, it's a drag, especially for a woman, a black, a Jew, an Asian, a Hispanic, a Native American, a gay, or a lesbian who is dehumanized by a vulgarity that is directed to the specifics of his or her humanity. In many segments of our society, we seem to be losing the capacity to respect each other's humanity. For decades, we've taught our children the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. We didn't even spell it right. But today, there's a burgeoning movement, an ecumenical movement in America to start teaching students the other equally important R's, respect and responsibility. And as Aretha Franklin says, R-E-S-E-P-Z-C, that is what you mean to me, respect. Recently, one of America's most prolific scholars, Robert Coles, declared at a meeting, intellect does not always mean high character. Because you have a Phi Beta Kappa key, truly the summa dignitas in our society, does not confer the ability of respect and responsibility. Wesleyan 95, as you leave here today, remember the options of those 3 blueprints in life. As a member of the committee, as a great risk taker, as a people nurturer, or all 3. And if you don't like those 3 or 4, outline your own blueprint. And as you outline that blueprint, pursue excellence without exclusion, be a militant without malice, and above all, try to have faith without fanaticism. 3 years ago, General Colin Powell urged the class to find strength in its diversity, but warned, divided, fighting amongst ourselves, walking our separate lines of diversity, we are as weak as newborn babes. Wesleyan graduates, we won't ever be as weak as newborn babes as long as the soul of Wesleyan unites us with its special grace. And that special grace urges us to be strong by walking in united lines of diversity. May we all find a lasting love in the energy that has brought us together on this campus today. Class of 1995 and members of the crossover generation, this is a glorious moment in time. Let your rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. And in the words of that lovely old Negro spiritual, walk together, children. Don't you get weary. My new Wesleyan sisters and brothers, God bless you.
Madam President, I have the honor to present the 696 candidates to receive at your hands Wesleyan's degree of Bachelor of Arts.
By the authority of this university, I grant you the degree of Bachelor of Arts in all rights, privileges, honors, and responsibilities which by custom pertain to this degree. In testimony of your achievement, I am pleased and proud to present your diploma.
Manila, Linda Marie Marella, Eric Daniel Meyerson, Kristen Thorne Miano, Glenn Joseph Michaud, Aisha Claire Mike, Angeline Elizabeth Miller, Giles Greenleaf Miller, Kirsten Hiller Miller, Kristen Noel Miller, Liza Alexander Miller, Sandra Lynn Miller, Shant Earl Miller, Melinda Ann Mills.
I also award to those worthy degree recipients in absentia all the rights, privileges, honors, and responsibilities which by custom pertain to these degrees. Please join me in one more round of applause for our new alumni. Pleasure to present to you Tavia Nango, who will deliver remarks for the class of 1995.
Madam President, Mr. President-elect, Mr. Chairman, honorary degree recipients, faculty, family, and guests, and my fellows in the class of 1995, good morning, and we did it. Before I begin, I would like to dedicate my remarks to my grandmother, Laura M. Turkish, who had hoped to be here this morning, but suffered an injury yesterday and is presently recuperating from surgery at Middlesex Hospital. The Nooka Native Americans have a song to bring fair weather, a line from which goes, "You whose day it is, make it beautiful. Get out your rainbow colors so that it will be beautiful." And as I look out at my fellow graduates gathered today, resplendent in our diversity, I see that we most definitely have gotten out our rainbow colors. When I was entering my teens, I dreamed of coming up with a blueprint for the ideal society. The naivete of that youthful dream seems remarkable to me now, but there is something about the quixotic idea of perfecting society through the pursuit of knowledge that motivates and rests in me still. It also rests, I would argue, in the philosophy behind a liberal arts education such as we have been promised here at Wesleyan. We were invited to spend 4 years ranging broadly over the vast spectrum of human learning with expert teacher scholars as our guides. We were asked to dismantle our preconceptions, to put our convictions to the test, and to learn from each other and from our professors something of the many different ways of viewing the world. We were urged to ask only the hardest questions, no matter how ridiculous they might have sometimes seemed. And what did we receive in exchange for this commitment? I think that we all, in one way or another, realized that Wesleyan promised us the moon. Small classes, opportunities for research, a multicultural campus, a sense of community, a sense of civic-mindedness. Most famously, Wesleyan rashly promised not to train us for something specific, but to prepare us for anything. It is the nature of that preparation that I would like to reflect on today. What have we gained from our time here that could fill so steep a bill as to be preparation for anything? We have gained, with our prestigious education, access to the political and economic elite of this country. Despite vast differences of class, race, gender, nationality, and sexual orientation, we are today invited to become members of the empowered few. A Wesleyan degree is a valuable credential that will put many of us in the position of managing and leading others. It is ironic that we are of a generation whose future looks daunting, facing as it does the prospect of being less well off than the previous generation was, of being left with fewer resources to combat the growing problems in our society of poverty, environmental degradation, and resurgent xenophobia, to name a few. But while general conditions seem bleak, the prospects of this particular group of Generation Xers seems bright indeed. Our good fortune ought to make us proud, but it ought also to humble us. We did not make it to this place alone. This grand monument of an education was built with many hands, and the laboring will have been in vain if it fails to inspire us to take out our wheelbarrows, bricks, and mortar, and start building for others. One task, then, is to make the best of our elite education while avoiding elitism. We must shun the fashionable belief that our good fortune makes us superior to others, that there are innate differences that ready some for greatness, others for servitude. Public discourse in this country has become the almost exclusive province of elites, even though the problem we face affects us all. Will we seek to challenge the status quo now that we are privileged under it? When we are gathered around the policy tables to discuss welfare reform, will we have the impertinence to ask where the voices are of those who are on welfare? When we assemble our articles or academic treatises on the problem of homelessness, will we seek to learn from those who are themselves homeless? Will we, in short, replenish ourselves with continuous contact with others of whatever station? We are leaving here with the ability to speak articulately. Let us also leave with the willingness to listen with compassion. This Wesleyan degree we have in our hands, I think, if it is to be worth the paper it is printed on, must do more than prepare us to fit into established patterns and accepted structures. It must prepare us to question, to debunk, to demand change. In our time here, there have been glimpses of what we collectively can accomplish. One of the most satisfying moments for me came in our first year, when we occupied North College to demand that the administration retain its commitment to need-blind admissions policy. We played a decisive role in that successful effort, which brought together radicals and conservatives, black and white, those on financial aid, and those not. We spoke with one voice, and that set the tone for the next 3 years. And we have poured that energy into other activities, from community service to campus activism to clinic escorting to marches in Washington and in New York City for women's right to choose and for gay, lesbian, and bisexual rights. All this effort gives force and meaning to the egalitarian words we so often speak and demonstrates that academic learning and advocacy for social justice can work together, producing even greater results through the marriage of the two. For most of us, educating ourselves at Wesleyan these 4 years has been the most challenging, most difficult thing we have done. But if we are honest, if we use this education as it was meant, it will only lead us on to new challenges, new difficulties. This, I believe, is what Wesleyan meant to be doing in preparing us for anything. It meant to ready us to be citizens of a volatile and changing world, to grasp that change and make it our own. I believe we can do anything, and indeed, I believe we must. I want to close with a quotation from the Lebanese poet Khalil Gibran. He wrote in his book, The Prophet, "But you, children of space, you restless in rest, you shall not be trapped nor tamed. Your house shall be not an anchor, but a mast. As with our houses, so let it be with our educations. May they serve us not as anchors, but as masts. May our journey on the vast sea of life be rewarding. May the inner compass of our conviction bear true, and may this vessel of knowledge serve us well and carry us to new and undiscovered shores." A friend told me this past week that he admired his fellow students because even if they did not all know what they were doing next month, they knew something much more important. They knew who they were. Hold on to the rainbow, folks, and the rest will come easy. Thank you.
On behalf of the Wesleyan Alumni Association, I welcome you to the worst hat hair day of your life. I also welcome you to a new branch of the family. You have new sisters and new brothers who are eager to meet you and will invite you time and again to tell your unfolding personal story. In fact, we depend on you to do so. Wesleyan needs your engagement, just as my graduating class in 1968 depended upon Chuck Stone, and Chuck Stone was here, and other alumni to relate their experiences, to listen, learn, challenge, and support. And here is what you get in the process: a place to recharge your batteries and to create empowering opportunities for other young people. All starting at this glorious moment of your graduation, when there is a feeling in the air, on this field, on this terrace, and in this new family of yours, that Wesleyan is poised for another chapter of greatness. Not a bad deal. It is a reciprocally nourishing relationship that you now have. It is the best of giving and getting, and you have lifelong admission. Welcome to a multi-generational, multiracial, multi-talented, multi-humorous, and multi-passionate family of Wesleyan alumni and alumni. Our home, your home, is wherever we can talk, on campus, by phone, fax, email, alumni club gatherings. So for now, congratulations, so long, but most importantly, see you later.
Joanne Crichton has served Wesleyan for 5 years, first as Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, and for the past year as our interim president. As our chief executive, she's led Wesleyan on the steady course charted by the university plan, and she has done this with skill, good sense, and warm humor. She has taught us all anew how to celebrate Wesleyan. But shortly, we'll leave this place to head Mount Holyoke College. I cannot let this moment, this last chance, go by without asking you, our newest graduating class, the class of 1995, to join me in honoring Joanne and applauding her success.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow trustees, faculty colleagues, parents and friends, honored guests, and you, the class of 1995, it's a pleasure to have this opportunity to greet you. I'd like to add my voice of congratulations to you, class of 1995. I'm graduating too, in a way, and I've learned a lot in my Wesleyan education, and I certainly hope that you have too. I thought I would concentrate my remarks today on one lesson that I learned particularly well. You may recall that Yogi Berra could rally his team with the words, "It's not over till it's over." I learned that such a sentiment has no usefulness at Wesleyan. The important Wesleyan spin on this truism is, it's not over when it's over. This is a lesson I have learned well, and a truth I shall always associate with Wesleyan and take away from Wesleyan. Over and over again, I face this Wesleyan truth, sometimes with grim recognition. Each time it comes around again, deja vu all over again, to use another Yogi Berrism, such as when an administrative decision is challenged again and again, or a committee goes back to an issue previously resolved, or a petition arrives, or a sit-in or riot is staged, or an unending debate is played out in the Argus. It reminds me of a commencement speech that I heard one time, in which I can repeat in its entirety. Never give up, never give up, never, never, never. Admittedly, it's not always easy to be an authority figure such as a president in a culture with such a deep-rooted and abiding commitment to challenging authority. Not incidentally does Wesleyan find its genesis in the protesting religion of John Wesley. Not incidentally does the Thoreauvian and Emersonian spirit of flinty self-reliance infuse this New England college. Not incidentally are students and faculty drawn to this college because of the freedom and the independence that it affords them. And not incidentally are some of the most important intellectual values taught here, skepticism and critical thinking. But you may not have found that it's always easy to be a student here either. Maybe Wesleyan hasn't always been a completely nurturing and harmonious community for you. Indeed, in this world of tough-minded individuals, it may sometimes have seemed, as Lily Tomlin once put it, we're all in this alone. But the good news is that the making of Wesleyan is not over either. Wesleyan is not a fixed entity, but organic and changing and responsive to its changing humanity. To you, the class of 1995, who've not been satisfied with its shortcomings, Wesleyan continues to experience stresses and strains and growing pains as it stretches to accommodate itself to the energy and the idealism and the fierce independence of so many striving individuals who are gathered here at any one time. Indeed, Wesleyan has changed a great deal from its origin as a tiny Methodist men's college. Through the prodding and hard work of many passionate constituents, Wesleyan has been striving to become a more perfect college in a complex, changing, multicultural, globally interconnected world. If your education seems incomplete, you may be pleased to hear that a Wesleyan education is not over when it's over. Alums tell us this with passion and conviction. One of the great pleasures of serving as president is that I'm the recipient of thanks and testimonials about the enduring value of a Wesleyan education. If you're like your alumni brothers and sisters, what you've learned here is only the beginning of what will be a lifetime of reflection and learning. Moreover, if you like them, you will find that your affiliation with Wesleyan is not over with graduation. Some of you may even follow in the footsteps of our commencement speaker, Chuck Stone, or our new president-elect, Doug Bennett, who keep coming back to Wesleyan in new roles and with new accolades. Indeed, I predict that this alma mater has already insidiously wound itself about your heart and mind and being. You will become, inevitably, representatives and ambassadors of the place. And many of you will become volunteers and trustees and critics. And all of you, we hope, will become donors who will help to ensure that Wesleyan is here for your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, and for children and great-grandchildren, quite unlike you and your family. For if you're like many of us on the faculty whose education was not over when it was over, who've never been able to leave the world of the university once we started, you will develop over the years a passionate appreciation for the role that liberal arts colleges and universities play in our society. It's a legacy of immeasurable value, and those of us who have profited from it need to give back to it to ensure that this legacy is passed on to others. Indistinguishably then, Wesleyan is you, and you are Wesleyan, and over again, over the years, you will gain a new appreciation of yourself that is rooted and has taken root here. As T.S. Eliot has mused in the four quartets, time present and time past are both perhaps present in time future, and time future contained in time past. What we call the beginning is often the end, and to make an end is to make a beginning. The end is where we start from. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and to know the place for the first time. So in some graduates, this end is assuredly a beginning, and this beginning is not an end. For you and for me, although what today marks what seems to be an end, our affiliation with Wesleyan is not by any means over when it's over. So let's celebrate this Wesleyan defiance of finality. Congratulations.
have to do any more of this.
We're coming. These are your professors. Yeah. Well, he probably has credit.
Got that B minus.
Yeah, maybe, but they would know.
Oh, that was almost worth the price of admission right there.
By the time you get to like end up.
Very well. I always like taking the panic mode. I'm like, I know, I don't paper. I'm like, no, you're safe.
Is that only 10 your package?
City and
How you doing?
See you. You're so spacey. You stayed up for the...
I didn't actually see that many of them. I know. We're gonna get along fine.
Oh, God. I just need them to another zero.
Hi, Andy.
Cinco.
I'm like,
That's one embarrassing.
you lost family here?
Really?
Or sure.
Hey! Yes!
You.
Go feel free to ask.
Yeah, Marina. Okay, I got you before. You know how great papers, you know? That's all right. Free at last.
But you know, I think I need to hold my number. He says, he's like, yeah, the weirdest thing was seeing the professors in college. Wasn't that weird? It was like, wait a second. Let me not smile.
Spare change, you know?
Meet me by the goalpost afterwards. How few of my favorite professors are like full professors? Funny.